family. I am here with Dr. Faraji Torre. Please introduce yourself to my Court and Iris family.
And I'm Dr. Faraji Torre. I'm an author, speaker, and I do many more things.
So today, my topic is dating a man's perspective.
Wait, you dating what?
A man's perspective.
Okay.
How is it out here? So we hear women crying, we hear women talking, we hear women's experiences all the time, but we really don't get to hear the opposite of that. How are men's experiences? What are men going through as they're out here in the dating world?
Wow. Well, I have my personal feelings about it.
And
And then
also
I
share
hear,
what you're experiencing the people around you as well, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have friends, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. Everybody, both men and women, are bruised, bitter, frustrated, and it's just not a good experience all around. From a man's perspective, it's draining. Let's just say that it's very draining. It's easy, it's emotionally draining, especially if you're the pursuer, right? If you're the pursuer, so like if you're trying to court a woman, right? You're the sole pursuer because at the courting phase, there's no reciprocity. You're trying to prove yourself to be a good courter, so you can enter into the dating stage for those who do that method. And then in the dating phase, you want some reciprocity, but you're still, calling, texting, planning dates, planning outings, things like that. And for those who do circular dating, meaning they date more than one person at a time, oh, it gets expensive, it gets costly. Because normally most men, we're not on the phone all the time, right? So we're trying to, narrow down that field to get to one person at least. But until that happens, you're having multiple conversations. And for me, a person who does not like the phone, it's tasking. It's absolutely tasking. So it's just not always a good experience.
So I was sharing our discussion with you, of our discussion that we had prior to the interview. And a lot of the women around me just couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that there's a single man out there who has a good career, who has all the things, and is having not having success dating. Because they're
Well,
like, he's the perfect man. Like, what is the problem? He's attractive. He has the job. He has he's set. What is the issue? So
I
I
mean,
said, I'm gonna ask you, what is the issue? Because the women are saying they want the man, but there's some disconnect happening.
Well, I mean, you're right, and again, I come with my own set of issues, which I would like to say not major issues, right? But
Mhm.
I'm bruised and frustrated too, right? So I have a low tolerance for anything, because what we see on both ends of the spectrum is men and women showing up as representatives, right? They project themselves to be one way. And then on the personal aspect, we also forget that there's real lives, real emotions, and real things happening behind these videos and pictures that we see in online. Um, so we forget that element of it, right? We kind of go through the shock of the person that we imagine this person to be when we first initially engage them to who they actually are once those walls come down, once they get comfortable, things like that. And then it's also from a person, from my perspective, to where uh, when you don't have a lot of stuff going on, it's like you're boring, right? You're not lit. You know what I mean? I'm not in the club all the time. I'm an activities person more than anything. I'm not gonna go. I'll go sit in a cigar lounge sometimes, but that's not my main source of entertainment. I'm traveling. I'm working on my business, or I'm doing something else. You know what I mean? That's opposed to like, okay, it's Friday. Let me just go hang out and hit the bar or the club or lounge. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So,
Look,
and
I'm
then,
not either. I am not either. I'm done with that. I'm
yeah,
done with that.
yeah, it's not it. Now, if I am in those places, I have a date. You know what I mean? I have a date. But for men, I encourage men to have big discretion. I don't know if that's, you know what I
I
mean?
love it.
You
I
have
love
to
it.
have discretion on who you entertain. You know what I mean? So it's gonna narrow your field of view in the dating realm. You know, because again, I mean, I've heard that before. Oh, you got yourself together and blah blah blah. I do, but it's just like a moth to a flame. That flame attracts moths, insects, everything else that's undesirable because everybody feel like, hey, I'm worthy to have somebody like you, and they may not be in alignment to what I'm doing. They may not, you know, I may not be attracted to them. They may not be attracted to me on some level or another. So it's not that easy as to say, oh, you know, he's a good person or she's a good person, because again, even two good people might not be a match for each other.
That's true.
So, you
So
know, again, and I think just it's just my experiences has been something else, man. Something else.
so I saw a TikTok video and the girl was breaking down what she requires to date. So she said, first of all, how do you feel about this idea of men spending all of this money? Now, I'm a woman, so I don't know. But they said that the minimum should be $200 for a date. Now, I understand if you're dating someone who has a certain amount of money, if you go to a really, really nice restaurant or whatever, you can do that. But do I really, as a man, want to be spending $200 on each woman I date? Like, is that
Right.
the going rate?
No, no, because I've spent about that or some more when I really enjoyed her company. Like we went to a nice spot. We may have done some things afterwards. Might hit up a wine bar, a cigar bar, something like that. So it's not a problem spending that money, but you don't want to continually do that. So you have to. The issue is spreading those dates out, right? So if you want to have one date a weekend, right? One date, you can't date if you're circular dating, you can't date the same woman every weekend. So she's seeing you for a date maybe every 2, 3 weeks, depending on how many women you're trying to entertain. I don't have that type of time or energy. You know what I mean?
That seems very exhausting. As a woman, am I sitting around waiting for you 2 weeks to
Right,
get back around to
exactly.
me?
So now where I am, I just think that if a woman doesn't feel like you're in love with her in like 3 weeks, she feel you wasting her time. So she's gone. You know what I mean? You're
Now,
gone.
that's
So,
the other thing I was getting to. These unrealistic, you know, expectations.
right,
Now, it can take a while to kind of know if you are
right,
have a good vibe with someone,
right,
but you just said it like 3 weeks and you're my man or you're my woman or like
right.
what
It's,
are you encountering that's like
is really
truly
rushed.
crazy?
It's really rushed in some instances, because they want to have that engagement, but they are afraid to engage. Right? They're afraid to invest that time and energy, because it just may not work out. Right? Because everybody is kind of going forward with this wall up. Right? So okay, yeah, they might be worth it, but if I put 2 months into this, and then all of a sudden, so now people are dealing with a bunch of confusion because they don't know if they want to, keep their options open. They don't know if they want to continue to invest into this one person that it may not work out. And who knows the cure for that?
So I think if I was on the market, I definitely wouldn't date one person. I
Okay.
wouldn't. I have always been a serial monogamous to the point where it's been very limiting. But I also wouldn't be wasting. I wouldn't want to waste people's time either. So if I know I'm not feeling you, I would probably pay for it.
Right.
So you don't feel like okay, thank you for the
Right.
time. But I feel like a lot of times women are so desperate to latch on that it makes them come across as very unattractive. It's almost desperate.
Well, I mean, but there's no balance, because either you have somebody who's just like completely disconnected, or you have somebody super attached, right? Because if you take the sex element out of dating, right, there's no issue with dating multiple people at the time because you're doing a process of elimination. But even nowadays, from my perspective, everybody's just like, even women on the dating app. You're on the dating app, and it's presumed that you're having multiple conversations. But you'll see in the bio, oh, if you're here dating multiple people, then skip me over. Like, well, how do you get to know people? How am I just supposed to see your profile, swipe on you, and expect you to be my girlfriend now? You know what I mean? That's what the expectation is. If you're here, serial